I love when we get to do this together.
Me too.
Thank you. Is God calling? I think God is calling, Sandy. It might be for you. Well, we've had an exciting couple of weeks, and I love this title, Mothering is a Spiritual Path, and you set the tone in the meditation. Thank you for that. So we've had a new pope elected, right? Yes, that went pretty quick. Anybody know about the airport delays that happened? Okay, we had that situation, and then we have Mother's Day. So let me see I want to just show you how I'm going to wrap that all together real quick. On April 28th, 90 seconds of equipment outage with the control tower in Philadelphia, which caused a loss of communication at Newark Airport. And look at this snapshot. I think we may have the next one there. Just take a look at what an air traffic controller is looking at their entire shift. And that's just a snapshot, okay? And they lost that communication, okay? They are in charge of, the airplanes. These airplanes are all relying on the guidance of those in the tower to bring each one of them home safely, to land safely. Now, I want to show you a metaphor here, because those in the tower are like a divine mother to those pilots. The pilot is in command of their airplane, but they rely on the tower to guide them home safely. We, each one of us, we may think we know where we're going. We may think we have a flight plan. We climb to altitudes with great purpose, right? But divine intelligence sees the whole plan. It knows when to say pause. It knows when to say descend. It knows when to circle for now, right? It also knows when to safely land. Mother's Day. Well, let me go into the Pope first. We got the picture of our new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th. Now, I zoomed in on his eyes because I firmly believe the eyes are the windows of the soul. So I zoomed in to look at his eyes, and I said to Michael, he looks genuinely like a caring person. And he appears to have an emphasis on unity of all life. He appears to have a global perspective, and he appears to have dedication to service. The world has hope. We hope that he will lead with wisdom, because how many was it? Is it in the billion of Catholics that look up to him for hope, right? And we are hoping that he's going to lead us to a world moving toward oneness and harmony, just like a divine mother. Mother's Day now is a day to honor those that guide us not with systems, right? Not like the tower, but with love. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. These mother figures, male, female, it doesn't matter. Those who nurtured us, those are the ones that in our life whispered to us. As Sandy said in your meditation, you're not lost. You're loved. You're home. We all need that someone, don't we, to help us land safely. So Sandy, I'd like to, do we want to go into these pictures, or do you want to go into your Divine Mother part?
I mean, I can go. I was going to comment on what you had to say.
Oh, good.
I love the analogy. When she first brought it up, she told me a little bit yesterday on the phone. And I'm like, what?
She's like, where are you going to go with
And
that?
I'm like, oh, and then she started talking about it. Like, yeah, you're right. And the whole idea is that when we talk about the divine mother, and we know that mothering is a divine act, whether the person who is doing the mothering is spiritually aware of it or not. We can see that obviously, outwardly, mothering is a divine act. And it's also something that is inside us all, because spiritual mothering, just like the pilots that she was talking about, when they're reaching in to get guidance from their sources, spiritual mothering does not rush. It listens and observes, just like the air traffic controllers. Listens and observes, what information do I have? Not just in front of me on the screen, but also it looks for, what do I know? Pausing. So did you realize that the whole pause, pray, proceed, that the pausing part of that is the spiritual mother?
When I read my notes this morning, I'm like, oh, that is the pause.
It is. It's the pause. And the Pope is holding that sacred space, that spiritual space. So we know that he has a political position and he does a lot, but for the world, we don't see all of that. As a Catholic, as a non-Catholic, I don't see all that he does, but I see his presence, right? He holds the space of hope for the entire world. He holds a space of peace and hope, and he also holds this spiritual space and reminds us who we are. Isn't that what a spiritual mother really can do for us? Is not only hold that space, but in holding the space, remind us who we are. And so without trying to fix the world, it's not trying to fix anything.
No.
Not just holding the space of possibility and holding the truth of who we are when we can't. That's what a spiritual mother does. And there is something inside of you that holds that space for you all of the time. It's the truth of your being. So the divine within you is twofold, which is why in old unity prayer, we pray Father, Mother, God. It's just like yin and yang. So the yin is the receptive. The mother is the receptive part that's open and holds the space. And the yang is the active part. And I put up a quote from Charles Fillmore. It said that the metaphysical meaning of motherhood is the brooding, nourishing element of divine mind or God in which spiritual ideas are brought to fruition. Now, at first I'm like, but then I really started to think about brooding, not the type of brooding where you're pouting over being sad about something, but brooding like a mother hen. Mm-hmm. And the mother hen brooding, did you realize that many birds that nest, they not only build their nest, but many of them will pluck feathers off so that they can have skin contact with the eggs and with the babies, and the warmth from her body can be delivered more fully. What I get from this is it's an act of preparation and waiting that is active. It's not just sitting back and saying, divine order, I know everything's in divine order, and God will have me, everything's good.
Right.
Although we can say that and it's great, there's also this active receptivity, this expectancy that happens in motherhood that is a part of all of our lives. And it's the part that whatever it is that is looking to become through you, whatever is looking to come through you, it's brooding over that to allow it to come up, to be receptive to that idea, and then to be that way in the world.
She's talking metaphysics here, right? So it's not the literal, it's what's this deeper meaning of mothering? Because I know sometimes guys think, oh, what are they going to talk about, right, on Mother's Day, right? But it is like Sandy said, the yin and the yang, we all have that in us. We have both that protector and the action, and we also have the nurturing and the keeping the egg warm, keeping the ideas, the creativeness warm until it's ready to come forth. So in your meditation, I have to just segue from that meditation. I just sat there and cried because I realized the minister here was, when I came 35 years ago, was Claudette Ferrone, and then there was Reverend Alden, and then there was Reverend Barbara, and then there was Reverend, Julie, and then I was like, they were all mother figures to me. They all nurtured me on a path, a flight path that I thought I was going to, and got redirected by these ministers over and over and over and said, no, you can't land there. You're going to land here safely. And I've never realized that until that meditation. And then I'm looking around and I'm thinking about all you, and I'm looking right at Ron and Rhea. I'm going to name you because you have been, Ron, you as well as Rhea have been mother figure to me. And so many of our older congregants that have transitioned became mothers to me. So I just needed to.
No, you're good. I think you can just
Can we do this part?
Pictures. Yes.
I want to do this
Keep
part
going.
because I think these pictures are, can we go back 2 slides, Dave? I think one more and one more, 2 more. Go back 2 more. There we go. That should be the first one, I believe. Okay, that's Michael. Okay, that's my husband years ago. But I want you to know, this is him being a grandmother, because his wife is in that building getting treatment for cancer. And she's getting chemo treatments continuously. And so she wasn't able to be the grandmother. And so he became the grandmother figure. You can see one sound asleep on his lap. I want you to see the next one. That's Christy, my daughter. That's right after she gave birth to Mia, her first birth child. Now, why I'm showing this is because literally I warned her that I was going to show a picture. I didn't show that one. There's a meaning behind this picture, because not 3 minutes before that child was born, she's crying. Now it's in between her labor, right? Her pains. She's crying. And I lean over and she says to me, I'm afraid. What if I don't know how to love her? And within minutes, Mia's born. And is that not a look of a mother's love? Instant, right? Now let's look at Sandy's. Yes.
So talking about kind of on the train of mothers who didn't think they could mother, my husband, so this is Devin, that would be his grandson, my step-grandson. And my husband has been a mother throughout his life because his wife was an alcoholic. And so he stepped up in a big way to help his children. And we both took in Devin when his daughter transitioned from a drug overdose. So I have not birthed any babies through my body. And I've always had a story that I could not be a nurturing person because I didn't actually ever birth a child. And I didn't want to. Part of it, the reason why, and I've never really said this, part of the reason why I had decided not to have any kids and marry a guy who already had them is because something inside me had to hold on to a story that there was no nurturing presence in me and I wouldn't be a mother the right way.
And that, who would know, right? Look at her now.
So Devin, who is now 16 and driving, oh my gosh. Wow. There was always this other part of me that had something back there that said, you're going to be a mother in a different way. It's coming. It's coming. This voice. And I'm like, what the heck? How is it coming? Like, there's no way I'm going to have any kids. And one day I took in Devin. And so I got the experience of being a mother. So in a very unlikely way. So we both have stories of how we are all mothers. We all have it inside of us. And when we can release that, we know that when we're with our children, our grandchildren, you have this feeling, and this feeling that releases with that you know there's something inside of you. The playfulness, the love that you have for the child is something that you didn't even know existed within you until you had that child, yes? And we all have that in us. We can release that power. It's a superpower that we all have. It's a divine power, one of our 12 powers of love that we can have and we can use all of the time. And we can use it for other people, but you know who probably needs it most of all? Us. Allowing that feeling, allowing that nurturing, allowing that self-care for ourselves is so much more important than anything we could ever turn outside of ourselves.
Yeah, it's the truth, Sandy. I mean, I think sometimes I do a pretty good job at that, but then when the meditation, I was like, I need to do more. I need to do more of taking care of me. There still is the adult in me wants to say to the little girl, you didn't do that right. Last night, I told Michael I'm not going to sing with the singing group because I don't know the song. And that was the adult, the ego in me saying, you don't know the song, don't sing, right?
And for me, this is all very metaphysical. So I want to turn to, just briefly, I don't want to go through the whole story, but it's the barren women of the Bible. Yeah, see, you know how I'm talking. All the women who couldn't have babies, that at really old ages and in crazy situations had babies anyway, and it was kind of like God's gift and God's miracle. I believe that this has a metaphysical meaning for everyone. So, a 90 or 80-year-old woman who gives birth would be just the same as a man to give birth, right? It's not possible. So
all the men just cringed.
So we know that there's something deeper beneath that. And so instead of going through all of their stories, because they do kind of lump together, I just kind of want to go over the spirit of it. For example, most people know Sarah. And Sarah was the one that said, I'm too old, I'll never have a child, even though God's promised me a child. And this is about limiting beliefs. So it's more like, where is your limiting belief that you haven't nurtured within you? Because not nurturing that blocks flow and blocks the love from coming through you and blocks you from showing up as the person you're supposed to be. So for me, Sarah, when she is not believing that this is ever going to happen to her, she goes through a transformation in order to allow and receive that child. So it's about, where are you blocking a limiting belief that wants to come through you?
Are you getting this? It's not about the 82 or 86-year-old woman having a child. It is metaphysically meaning what Sandy just said about allowing it to come forth in you.
For me, Rebecca, and we won't go into the whole story. For me, Rebecca was really needing to make it happen. And so I'm the one, that's me, trying to make it happen, how can I fix this? What can I do? How can I help you? What can I do so that you're okay, so I'm okay? You ever do that? You ever have that? And for her, to me, I think that she needed to give up her perfectionism and her petitioning, pleading with God, what more can I do to make this happen? And instead, turn in and speak to that little child that thinks it needs to fix it. There's a little child, the little me, the little 7 or 6-year-old me thinks I need to fix it.
Men, this is talking to you and your little boy as well. And women, your little girl.
The little one that thinks they need an A or a gold star on the paper to show mom and dad to be happy. Everything needs to be perfect so that I'll get that praise and that love that I've always been looking for. And mom will actually notice me, dad will actually notice me, and I'll be good. That little one still lives in me and needs those things. So what instead if I turn to her and I say, little one, you are good and you are enough. You are loved every day, and you are never, ever alone. And you are okay, and I forgive you for anything that you have ever not done. And guess what? You have full permission to be wrong. 100%. Because as Lynn Held said this morning in our morning class, we can just choose again. Little one, you can just choose again if you're wrong. So all of these women are kind of showing us that wherever we're not nurturing ourselves, when we open up to the divine love within us, the divine feminine energy within us that can nurture, that can sit with and not need to fix, that can hold and love and be curious and interested about it, that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to be, to allow that love so we feel it more in our lives, so the people around us feel it more in their lives, and so we make that ripple effect in our world that we're all looking for. We show up as the change we want to see.
World. Yes. I've got a quote here that seems to, I love it. Motherhood is not a function of gender, but it is a spiritual identity. Every one of us has the capacity to put mothering into expression. Now, I just looked at my son-in-law, who reminds me of that. I watch him. He is an excellent mothering in expression. He's also an excellent father, but he brings both of those aspects in a big way. And many of you do that through your nurturing. I look at someone here that's a Unitarian minister, and I know that he nurtures and pulls out feathers from himself to take care of the congregation that you serve. I mean, what a blessing that every one of us have this. I look at these singers today, and every one of them wanted to give of their joy to you here today. That's the beauty of this. Here I go again, crying. I swear I'm not going on a retreat with Martha Creek anymore, because all I do is seem to cry anymore. Oh.
Well, I had the strangest thing. I told you that I think the divine feminine is courageous and compassionate and caring, and is also very creative, and it's the center of our connection, all those C words. And this morning, Kathy directed me to the bathroom upstairs so that I was like trying to get around people and trying to make it here on time. And I found this, like, I was thinking of divine feminine, and then I see that little sign that says not to flush the feminine products down the toilet. I'm like, I'm not going to flush my curiosity or my connection.
Oh my gosh.
Or any of my calmness. I'm going to refuse to flush my calmness down the toilet anymore.
That's
like,
a very good analogy.
I'm not going to do it anymore.
Oh my gosh, do not flush those feminine products down the toilet. Oh,
I refuse.
Don't you just love where inspiration comes from?
I know, isn't it crazy?
Oh my gosh. Woo.
So to kind of get back to where we started and end things off, just remember that you are the air traffic controller of your life, right? You're directing emotional traffic. You are directing divine ideas, creativity within you, spiritual callings inside of yourself. So if you are that air traffic controller of your own life, of your own soul's path, are you pausing to receive divine guidance? How could you do that more before reacting or before acting? You are the Pope of your own inner kingdom, holding that space for yourself and for others. Are you leading yourself with compassion? Are you leading yourself with steadfastness and that hope that we know that the Pope leads us with?
Look at that. That's a great one. Let's go to our affirmation. I think it's a good time to do the affirmation. And then I've got a quick story for you. Let's say this together. Today I choose to nurture life in myself and in others. I recognize the divine mother within as I honor that by living with love, patience, and grace. Oh, let's go to I recognize. I recognize the divine mother within as I honor that by living with love, patience. Do you want me to repeat that?
Grace.
Patience, love, patience, and grace. So I want to end with this little story. And it was a man that was boarding a plane one day. And as he came on board, he noticed that the head pilot was a woman. Nothing wrong with that, but it was his first time seeing the main pilot be a woman. He gets his seat and he's got 3 people behind him. One seems to be like a 6-year-old child, and a gentleman probably in his 30s, and then an older woman sitting with him. And he didn't think about anything until he could hear their conversations. And they were all excited because he realized that the little boy's mom is the head pilot. And that's her husband, and that's her mother. And they were all there to support her on her first flight. Isn't this something we're ending with air traffic controllers again, right? So the plane's going down the runway, and it's taking off. The engines are revving, and the plane now is guided directly, taking the speed. Within seconds, the airplane's airborne. And as the plane ascends to the bank to the south, the 6-year-old boy begins to applaud. Way to go, Mom! Way to go! So I'm saying to each and every one of you, mom figures within each one of you, way to go, Mom!
Way to go!
Namaste. That divine mother in me sees and honors that divine mother nature in each and every single one of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Sandy, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, we have got to introduce our chaplain today is Elizabeth. She will be collecting the prayer requests. So if you have filled out any prayer requests, please send those to the center of the aisle, and she will be collecting the prayer request after following the love offering. So that's then prayed for with the chaplains for 7 days, and then it's sent on to Silent Unity. All of your requests are for another 30 days. So you are very supported in prayer here. And also, Elizabeth will be available in the prayer room, which is on the way to the restrooms to the left. There's a beautiful room there. Elizabeth will be there for if you would like private prayer for yourself or for somebody that you care about. Just know you're supported here in that way. Our love offerings, if you are a sustained giver, which means that you give electronically or Venmo or whatever that electronic bank transfer, I want you to grab one of the sustained giver tags. If I can grab just to show it, please. And please grab that because I want you to bless the way you give. If you have something monetary, whether it's a check or cash, then put that in your hand. Facebook, I want you to bless your love offering in the way you give as well, because this is an important part of our service, and that is blessing this, because as we give, we receive. So let's say our blessing together. Divine love expressed through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I have faith in God as my instant, constant, and abundant supply. Thank you, God. Amen.